Greetings, dear souls. I am Vladimir, your guide through the blood-stained annals of history. Tonight, we journey to a time when gods demanded rivers of blood and power was forged through terror. This is the story of the Aztecs, a civilization that rose from prophecy and fell under its own shadow. Dare to listen, but beware. Their legacy is not one to forget. Can you imagine a world where gods demanded rivers of blood and empires were built on human hearts? Stay until the end as we reveal the haunting films that resurrect the Aztecs' dark legacy. A prophecy in shadows. The rise of the Aztecs is a tale wrapped in shadow, sacrifice, and an undeniable sense of destiny. A civilization born from whispered prophecies and built on foundations of death. The Aztecs, or Mexica, emerged from the mythical land of Aztlán, a place of mysterious origin where their ancestors dwelled in the company of gods. Aztlán wasn't paradise. It was a place of whispers and shadowy deities demanding devotion. Their patron god, Huitzilopochtli, the fearsome god of war and the sun, commanded them to leave their homeland and search for a sign. An eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. For countless years, they roamed the hostile lands of the Valley of Mexico as outcasts, following the cryptic commands of their god through visions and signs that seemed to pull them toward the unknown. What kind of god leads his people through exile and suffering, promising glory, but demanding sacrifice? The Aztecs were not welcome in the lands they traveled, and tales of their dark rituals spread among neighboring tribes. Rituals that left the earth soaked in blood. The swampy cradle of an empire. When they finally arrived at the swampy shores of Lake Texcoco, they found their sign. The eagle, perched exactly as foretold. This desolate, marshy wasteland, surrounded by more powerful and hostile tribes, became their home. To the Aztecs, it was divine ground. They began to build Tenochtitlán, currently known as Mexico City, a city rising from the mud, its foundations strengthened by reed mats and layers of earth. Legend says the city's very first stones were laid atop bones buried in rituals to appease the gods. The lake churned restlessly, as though it sensed the darkness that would unfold. A pact sealed in blood. The Aztecs' rise began with a pact sealed in blood. As vassals to more powerful rulers, they offered their services as mercenaries to the Tepanecs, conquering enemies with ruthless efficiency. In 1428, under King Itzcoatl, the fourth king of the Tenochtitlán and the founder of the Aztec Empire, they betrayed their masters, joining forces with other city-states to overthrow the Tepanecs. The battle was brutal, and their victory marked by sacrifice. Thousands of captives were dragged to altars, their hearts torn out as offerings to Huitzilopochtli. The air was thick with smoke and the scent of death. The lake, they said, ran red. This is how the Aztec Empire emerged, dragged from the shadows, forged in blood, and sealed with the unyielding whispers of vengeful gods. If the gods offered you immortality in exchange for eternal darkness, would you accept? Tenochtitlán, the city of blood and stone. As Tenochtitlán grew, it became a city of wonder and horror. Its bustling canals and sprawling marketplaces were overshadowed by the towering Templo Mayor, a temple dedicated to death and the gods who demanded it. Every conquest brought tribute, not just gold or crops, but human lives. Captives were marched up the temple steps, their hearts ripped out to feed the gods, their blood cascading down the stones in crimson rivers. The Aztecs believed that if the sacrifices ceased, the sun would fall from the sky, plunging the world into eternal darkness. Was it fear, faith, or both that kept the sun rising over Tenochtitlán? Before we continue, if this tale of suffering and shadows has captivated you, hit like to keep the stories alive. Subscribe to join me for more chilling histories and untold horrors. Let the shadows guide you, and don't miss what's next. The terrors of rule. Their empire was sustained by fear. Surrounding tribes whispered of the Tzompantli, racks of human skulls displayed outside their temples, grinning in eternal torment. These ghastly trophies served as a warning. Defy the Aztecs, and your fate would be carved into bone. But the gods they served were never satisfied. Even the Aztecs felt the weight of their bargains. Every scream and every heartbeat was a reminder of the cost they paid to sustain their power. At its height, the Aztec Empire covered an area of approximately 80,000 square miles, encompassing over 500 city-states and a population of roughly 5 to 6 million people. Their capital, Tenochtitlán, was one of the largest cities in the world at the time, with an estimated 200,000 inhabitants. The empire thrived on a complex tribute system, demanding gold, crops, and human lives from its vassal states. These staggering numbers reflect not just the grandeur of the empire, but also the immense human cost of maintaining its dominance. Could you live in a world where every heartbeat echoed the cost of survival? The Aztecs were not just warriors and rulers, they were master engineers. Tenochtitlán was a marvel of urban planning. Built on an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, they constructed an intricate system of causeways and canals, connecting the city to the mainland and allowing for efficient transportation of people and goods. Their chinampas, or floating gardens, were an agricultural innovation that transformed marshy lake beds into fertile farmland, ensuring a steady food supply for their growing population. The Aztecs also developed aqueducts to bring fresh water into the city, demonstrating their advanced understanding of infrastructure. These engineering feats not only supported their vast population, but also showcased their ingenuity and ability to thrive in an otherwise inhospitable environment, a testament to their adaptability and determination. The Fall. By the early 16th century, The Aztec Empire dominated much of Mesoamerica, but their ruthless conquests bred resentment among the subjugated tribes. When Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador and explorer, arrived in 1519, he found allies eager to see the Aztecs fall. Cortés himself wrote of the eerie aura of Tenochtitlán, a city too grand, too otherworldly, to be entirely mortal. He described temples drenched in blood, priests wearing the flayed skins of their victims, and the relentless pounding of drums echoing like the heartbeat of something ancient and malevolent. As Cortés advanced, he exploited the fractures within the Aztec Empire, the resentment of subjugated tribes, long oppressed by the Aztecs' relentless tribute demands and brutal sacrifices, became a weapon in his arsenal. These tribes allied with the Spanish, their combined forces overwhelming even the might of Tenochtitlan. The once unshakable empire crumbled under the weight of betrayal, disease, and war. Smallpox, brought unknowingly by the Spanish invaders, ravaged the city, killing thousands and decimating the Aztecs' ability to defend themselves. The streets of Tenochtitlan, once vibrant and thriving, became rivers of death, filled with the bodies of the fallen. What remained was not just the end of a civilization, but the ghostly echoes of its former glory. A haunting reminder of how swiftly power can unravel when unity is lost. As the Spanish forces breached the heart of Tenochtitlan, the Aztec gods themselves seemed to fall silent. The Templo Mayor, once a towering symbol of divine power, was desecrated, its altars shattered, and its sacred fires extinguished. Statues of Huitzilopochtli were torn down, their once revered forms cast aside like forgotten relics. For the Aztecs, this was not just the loss of their empire, but the death of their spiritual foundation. The heavens, which had long demanded blood to sustain the cosmos, now gazed indifferently upon the ruins of their once mighty civilization. In the ashes of their city, the whispers of their gods faded, leaving only the chilling silence of a world turned upside down. A legacy of shadows. The empire fell in 1521, but even in its destruction, the darkness lingered. The Spaniards spoke of ghostly lights over the ruins and the faint sound of drums at night. The Aztecs were more than a civilization. They were a force of nature, their power rooted in violence and whispered promises from gods who demanded death. The Aztecs' legacy endures like a shadow over the modern world. Their language, Nahuatl, still spoken today, echoes ancient chants, while foods like maize and cacao, once offered to gods, thrive globally. The Chinampa farming system endures in Xochimilco, rising like spectral remnants of a civilization defying time. Mexico City, built atop Tenochtitlan's ruins, carries the weight of a bloody history, with the Templo Mayor standing as a haunting reminder of divine demands left unmet. Their influence extends into art, astronomy, and traditions like Dia de los Muertos, where the echoes of sacrificial rituals bridge life and death. The Aztec calendar and sunstone, carved with unsettling precision, speak of cycles once fueled by offerings to vengeful gods. Though the empire fell, its ghosts remain, etched in ruins, whispered in rituals, and woven into the fabric of the present. Aztecs in film. The Aztecs have cast a long shadow over film and television. Their blood-soaked legacy brought to life in unsettling tales. The Other Conquest, 1998, delves into the psychological torment of an Aztec scribe, grappling with the destruction of his gods and the oppressive rise of Christianity, offering a chilling glimpse into the aftermath of conquest. Apocalypto, 2006. Though centered on the Maya, vividly portrays sacrificial rituals reminiscent of Aztec practices, immersing viewers in a world of death, fear, and primal survival. Return to Aztlán, 1990, captures the mysticism of the Aztec world, following a harrowing quest for their mythical homeland amid divine wrath and despair. The series Hernan, 2019, brings the fall of Tenochtitlán to life, weaving together the perspectives of the Spanish and the Aztecs in a haunting portrayal of betrayal, war, and collapse. The blood-stained pages of the Aztec Empire remind us of the cost of power, fear, and sacrifice. If you were offered a kingdom at the price of torment, would you accept? Let me know in the comments. I will respond to every one of them personally. And don't forget to subscribe for more chilling journeys into history's darkest corners. Until next time, stay vigilant. The shadows are never far.